I used to be a student up at Cal State San Bernardino, and my mentor was Larry Kramer. And we used to ask him in class, what do you get when you're a poet and you get published? And he said, you just get vacations and trips to get money and cars and all kinds of stuff. Let's turn this in so I don't knock it over. And really, you get a couple of copies. In this case, I just got one.
Yes.
Anyway, the Dunacks were supposed to be here. I don't think they're here, but I have to thank Dave Dunack for posting this poem on Facebook, which is called Shifting, because I had forgotten about it. And so, as some of you might know, Cindy, you probably know, they don't publish things if you have them on Facebook. If you send them to a literary magazine, they will say, if it's anywhere on Facebook or Twitter, we will not accept it, we will not consider it. So I had to contact him and say, please take it off, which then he did. And then I promptly sent it out and it got accepted. So I was thankful to him for reminding me about it. It's an older poem. Shifting. The end of the world is out there in the shifting sky, speeding stone or slow as the failing leaf tied to the tree's fading flood. Blue chill torrent of freeway cars and enduring, if suffering, pavement. Air grasps for its highest purpose, a new sense of itself, passionate and full of spirit. But there is danger in the end of being, of controversy, of bound-up matter. Back to the air, now potently charged, people look up in confusion and clarity. Morning mists cloud the edge, evening winds sharpen it. In the middle of the night, what is beyond the spaces of time in which we live? Books stack up around us. But where is the sky in its new form to put newness in our intentions, and in that place beyond the mind? In that place where no expression can form, a silent person can find something in the leaves, fire from another place which has no map.
It's been wonderful knowing Carla all these years. Carla, when I hear that piece again, it just reminds me how much reward there is in poetry, because we deeply imbue the human psyche. Maybe generations, we won't be around to hear it, but I hear it now. And it's, I think it's the wonder of language that we can basically add to the stream of its content. So, this is a little bit about vertiginous veils, about industry and how it thinks it seductively moves the culture forward with its industry that makes the culture as much as it gives. Vertiginous veils, eutrophication cask, stagnation protected the head, lustfully basking, blind to all, especially and succinctly the poisons, the toxins of productive bliss, filling tear-filled lakes. And entr'acte is a need suppressed, of its strangling perception. A visual persistence is necessary, adjusting focus within the principle of uncertainty in play. Humility turning hubris, checks a certified excruciation hat after ass acknowledging tip.
I love that poem. You'll notice how different our poetry is, and that's part of the fun that we have together. We actually, since Tim retired, we get together and write poetry together, so that's fun too.
Thank you, God.
This poem, I took an astronomy class as an undergrad, and somehow astronomy figures into probably 80% of my poems. even though I was an English major. It was one of the best courses I ever had. So, the Northern Lights. What is a circumference but a meander on the outside, an excursion to equivalence? Meanwhile, the Earth's core is forced into ultimate pressure. Even the poles have shifted while all the world is bubbling at the party. Creatures on the ocean floor move toward an eruption of something that could be just another deficiency. Yet moving is better than waiting, and they move with spirit. Lions carry off the flesh and guard the lair, knowing that substance must be held on to in the inevitable commotion. The surface is full of frenzies and storms. Grab hold of the invisible bar that goes from the center to magnetic north, and hold on, even as things dislodge, weeping at light speed, and vow to remain fixed until all the particles have dispersed, become purple and blue in the magnetic field, then rejoice.
I'm fascinated with, I was a psych major in junior college for a while. I'm fascinated with consciousness. I think it comes from the awareness that in many faiths we're all told to wake up. That's the idea of what waking up is about. In topics is a little about the apple and the man and woman stepping into a different mindset. In topics, woman and man's bite into the ubiquities of awake. A moment's need, now's immediacy, spawned a continuous meiosis of bicameralities to stabilize what is Ah's realm. Overwhelming haptics, water-like interaction.
So since he was alluding to the book of Genesis and the fateful biting of the apple, I thought that I would follow it with poems about two Puritans. My major field of study was Puritanism, which I love, and I'm fascinated with their diaries and their perspective. And I found that I would get attached to different characters as I was reading. And I was very fond of this poor young man, Ezekiel Everett, who was 16 years old. And the First Church of Boston in 1653 admonished him for choosing evil company and frequenting a house of ill report. Morning. Dog, pen, sniffing bowl crumbs, and all the floor slept. What is this agitation? Sisters laughing, unrolling tablecloths, or the crow's grating cry? Worn shirt sleeve over eyes to shield from a bewildering sun. Evening. There's a sour chill by the brewery. Skirts rustle past like autumn leaves. This time he stared the crow straight on, after which it turned away, in a gesture of knowing, he thought, to land upon his mother, sewing in the dim light. And then the other one, my husband's favorite poem, is about John Bunyan, who many of you know wrote The Pilgrim's Progress. And I just fell in love with him when I was reading his conversion account. Just what a wonderful guy. But I felt sorry for him, because after his conversion to Christianity, I suppose from atheism or some other system, he said, another thing was my dancing. I was a full year before I could quite leave it. And I just always thought it was kind of sad that he felt like he had to leave his dancing behind, although when I was teaching at Biola University, which is a Christian university, the students do sign a thing saying they will not attend dances. And it's a little bit archaic even today, and maybe they've changed it by now. The Pilgrim at the Ocean. The sun, like needles, pierces at the shore, puts one booted foot in. Gulls and salt, recipe of wind, mixing above and the sandy crust giving beneath him. Church pews of sea foam, tracks of birds on the altar, smoke, wood, red. Time, like a rope, pulls him, a strand from eternity to edge, where he stands solemn. Feet now bare in icy whiteness, collar the white of cloud, dove, milk, and somewhere a sound, many sounds, and many winds as volcanoes stir themselves in the ocean floor. He watches, hands turning to clay, eyes to two dark pebbles, hair long and curled, wrapped like seaweed on a pillar where all the sins are strangled and tied to dry in the white sun. He sings with the gulls until they are raspy, until they are cracked like twigs, like bones, like the worn hymn book, like the smallest of seeds.
Again, along the theme of consciousness, Carla referred a book to me. It's Richard Barth's Camera Lascivia, which I strongly recommend, but it's a devotion. When you pick it up, you can read it for some time. And he's talking about photography. The idea that when photography first came out, they regarded it as man has achieved immortality because he could be, and that in cinema as well. And a little bit about the merging of consciousness. So, frame and focus. Storm crow pumping weeds under orange buttermilk clouds and amber skies. One light descending, one coming up high. Feathered mist flash, flutter lofting, or rash or raw flesh flush with exposed lip. We at her elements, feminine locked, pattern normal down draft. Again, about the idea of being mindful of who we are and where we're at and where we're going. The title is something I love to do. I love to make up new words. It's got a little bit of ontology of that, and the word map, so it's called ontomapologies. After the fact, what comes to mind then subsequently, round about midnight paths, those obstructed concerns. In the light of night, by day carry shadows as foresight's hope in the paradox that wrong and righteous wolf's clothing will bear truth and unrepentable forbearance.
I've been saying ontomapologies, like thinking of the word apology in there. No, but it's mapology.
I do not have the last word.
We took the train once, my husband and I, to New Orleans from Los Angeles, and it was very, very nice time. And it gives you time to think. You don't have to drive. You can look out the window. So this is thoughts on the train. Born into time, we make determinations, how to get from here to there, what to do with now and then. Soon overtaken, we split like atoms into all confusion. At night, find the only purity, a gleam of light, nothing else. We measure things, the spinning earth, melting glaciers, wristwatch, bells, calendars with waves. Earth's core, solid iron, and then molten. If the magnetic field is intermittent, this is the danger. We conclude, looking up and out, spectacular happenings. Stars explode, collisions in the great expanse. Stellar winds speed through space like careless words. Motion and repetition, questions. It seems there is always a before and after in the regular continuum. Why is the body in time a sorrow? Where is the most beautiful observation? Are the earthquakes wholly righteous? Yet the sea is a blue immensity. This train is on the edge of California, the end of Western dreams, the sapphire world of duration and span. Meanwhile, every edge is felt as we fade and cool like the ancient galaxies, like the white dwarf stars. This one is also about, you wake up at night, you worry about things, they seem awful, the next day they're not so bad. I have so many moments like that when I just wake up and brood about things. So this was called In the Polar Regions of the Soul. In the polar regions of the soul are the memories, things lost, river stones tumbled through cold waters, landing in the still twilight. In the polar regions of the soul are your journeys into any vortex, chaotic, your undoing. In the polar regions of the soul, a collapse of thought, an ice shelf like the dark side of Pluto, and at the holiday party you feel a refusal of all the givens. Your own tropical eruptions helping along perpetual cyclones, entering the jet stream like highway traffic, moving like Arctic oscillation, all the resonances of your week in a wild orbit. You recall a drive in the desert, an empty box, a pried open plank. You know about the great planet debate, the why and wherefore of identity. You turn on the tree lights, pour some wine. Later, drifting in dreams, you examine determinations, definitions. You have realizations. You see Charon and sticks, so you pass laws for the naming of moons. You cross the ice and stones, hearing the choreographed circling of the polar winds below the highest star.
Aquarium. Rory and I went to the aquarium in the Pacific about a year past. I strongly recommend it. It's a fulfilling day. And this is a reflection on that, watching a collective or hive minds and schools of fish or other creatures of the ocean environment. Aquarium, incumbent ontology, confluent schools of thought, moving in simultaneous formations within milieus in contrast with dynamics attracting and repelling the same divided empathy. Let it rain on the submerged. Let it rain on the purged, no matter the turn. If you are drowning, shared consensual movements nurtures antiphonal creeds. What is deemed is what is seen. We've had so much laughter on this. Carla says I like words that I cannot pronounce, and this is true. So I'll give it my best shot here. Synesthete, santa voce. Salt and pepper on the sunny side up. Ground signal to taste noise. Fried wet, then compost scrambled. Toast the host of holy butter. Jam the ram sweet bread. Headbutt kick. Tea for you, coffee for me. Savor the bright ascending bilious daybreak spread. Nashanan.
Just breakfast thoughts. I'm sure all of you think those same exact things. This poem, Cindy mentioned, Cindy, who has so many books out now, I'm so proud of her. She mentioned, well, you can bring a book if you have one. When I do publish a book, it's going to be called, this will be the title poem, it's called A Clear Horizon. And I am looking for a publisher this year, so we'll see what happens. Let there be yes, and let there be no more encumbrance upon it. Let all be unconstrained and even, sharp as a bright flash of light. Each year the gulls sweep across the same raspy call. The view is hindered by one thing or another, a boat with full-blown sails, a collection of clouds, or just a gray mist, all acceptable by some standards. But right now, a melted sapphire in brilliant sun, the sea opens out, the sky widens to unclaimed space, and here is a startling edge, like a line of perfect thought. As for purity, this view may be the final interpretation, a clear horizon, like a cleansed soul, flawless and gleaming in the light.
This is about the male myth, Iron John, the archetypal male of the 20th century. Putative, sang-froid, bonhomie. What else? Nothing else. Under these days could it be? The stance, at a glance, under pressure, defraying a gaze blows the smog styling sail, tacking a wave-school cool strut, parting a divided crest to its coveted trow, following the yielding and unyielding brine, blue froth's pale. I had shoulder surgery recently, and in the school of Tai Chi, we do a walking stick, and a cleft stick is a kind of walking stick that has a little, looks a little like a cloven hook. It's got a little separation. You can tie a sack into it. But, a lot of this has to do with the sound and the feeling of the body and walking the earth as we do walking, softening, and carrying a stick. Cleft stick, clasp, grip. The clavicles, cleft stick, in strut, resonant bodies click. Tuning forks upon a sounding board in this stage of life, about to adorned, loosely moving, softly damping, minor and whole harmonically woven 3 chords. Tendentious soft steps, walking the stops, perceiving a staff-supported weight, striking the sound of the world, spinning apogees and perigees at the pace and gait and movement of mass, air heavier than light cannot darken. Ostyanax is a character, legally, it's Hector's son who was thrown through the wall. And this is a childhood event in which I thought I could fly, and I leapt as a young boy from a stairwell trying to communicate to an adult, a father, that we were all precious and we had supernatural qualities. Astanax, a micro-ode to a childhood trauma relived in the 2016 election. Decompressing, depressingly descending stairs, unquestioned belief, just like winged flight, heaven obliged, to illuminate the dark devil in the right. Only the blind can see. Firmament securely insecure, firm footing in on empty space. Some angels of light alight, fall through pluperfect jewels.
This is the last poem. It's an elegy that I wrote for my father, who passed away in 2009, and he was in the Coast Guard, and he had a beautiful burial at sea that the Coast Guard did, which I was very grateful. But it was quite an emotional event. And I've been writing about the elegy on my blog, which is, if anybody wants to read my blog, it's called writingcustoms.com. So it's on WordPress. On a Flowing Ebb is the title, and the title comes from the certificate that the Coast Guard gave to me, which I'm going to read first, even though it's at the very end of the poem, which says, "This certifies that on 07 November 2009 at 15:15, while hove to and with no way on, The cremated remains of Robert Collier were consigned to the depths of the Pacific Ocean on a flowing ebb, in accordance with the traditional rites of burial at sea, as well as state and federal regulations at the following location. And they give the latitude and the longitude, the depth of the sea. The distance from the shore was 4.3 nautical miles. It was cloudy, 70 degrees. The wind was 266 at 5 knots. And the sea had a 2-foot swell. So somehow those details are a poem all by themselves to me, but I wrote an elegy for him. Excuse me. So he was cremated, as you can imagine, and so they do the burial at sea. We had a chaplain, and it was a very beautiful ceremony that they provide. This exit, once completed, opens out to multitudinous entrances. The map provides methods for placing ourselves somewhere, but all maps are approximations, aimed to represent something, a moment of anguish, for instance, or a place where a glimpse occurred, something just out of reach, a glint of sun on a wave. To the north is white, hoarse galloping bright winds, luminous light on valleys, shimmering skies. Refreshments are in the south, warm blossoms, continents of orangey gold, whole philosophies form and scatter. In the east are questions and beginnings. Here in the west, convergence. Air and time, river and stones, earthquake dust like the debris of stars, billions of stars in streams of great clusters, and on cold stones the mountains way down. But now, thousands of lines marching out to eternity. How can a soul decide on a path? It's a wild world, and ocean currents turn and incline toward 1,000 extensions, like light beams through the clouds covering the sunset horizon. Options multiply like equations we have never imagined. The gravel of childhood, now a million glimmers, a profusion of openings. How do we find the ultimate map, the summital place, the concluding unity of things? Therefore, I bless your dispersion into 1,000 places, your starting place at latitude and longitude, your grand dissemination into the world's vast seas. Finally, find your essence, the theme and core, the deepest place. Then find magnetic north and bolt there before the clouds close in, before seconds break like shells against rocks of regrets, before the world dissolves into a place with no openings or exits. And find heaven straightforward, beaming, and wide open.
Question and answer from our audience today? Sure. Okay. Does anyone have a question?
So you said you two collaborate. Could you talk a little bit about your process? Because people do that in all different ways.
Well, let's see. What would you say? I mean, sometimes we get together and we just say, let's write a poem about this, and we'll pick a word, and we'll just sit and write the poem and see what happens. We might write 5 or 6 in an hour, and then read them to each other. What else would you say?
There's also, with people of like mindsets, a shared empathy of understandings, and you regard dreams, you regard the day, you regard the moment, you regard shared sadness, shared happiness, and the language that we use over time becomes an infusion of what we are. It was joyful to hear her talk about maps, because we view maps in presence of it. I was telling her the other day that I heard this Indian chief talking about the rocks and soil around them, and somebody wanted to build a structure through their reservation. And he said, and I kept telling you this, I said that Kip referred to the rocks and the plants as grandfather. So use this awareness.
We read or close to each other a lot too, out loud. And then this time we went through and read and tried to pick up an image or a theme that would naturally flow. Like I had an image of the ocean and he had his aquarium and he had some stuff about midnight and then I had the middle of the night. So we tried to weave it into shape a thematic sort of a journey.
I was thinking of a meal.
He's hot, he's a foodie.
We eat a lot too, as well.
Joking, we were telling Carla my classes today, it's tapas, small plate poetry.
Oh, right. I think you have a name for your group now.
Thank you.
I have questions. One, it's obvious that you're at ease. Would I kind of use the word performance or presenting to people?
Oh, well, that's good to know.
So that leads me to this question. Where would we be able to watch it come in and experience your poetry again? Do you have places or a place we could go to find out?
Well, we've been talking, both Tim and I and my cousin Greg here, who's a poet, we've been talking about setting up a couple of poetry readings in the Inland Empire. We'll probably try to do 2 or 3 this year.
Oh, good.
So, they should be local, I think, probably, between here and Claremont somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Do you have a central hub, like a Facebook page or a website? I know you mentioned your blog. You might want to mention your blog again.
It's called writingcustoms.com.
Okay.
And feel free to post on there. I'm interested in the writing habits of other people. And so it started off being about that, but it's just kind of about everything. Lately it's been about the elegy as a poetic form, and then I've had a long lapse from working on it because I've just been working on other things, but I'm going to hope to get back to it. So writingcustoms.com, and then I'm on Facebook, but I don't have an author website or anything like that. I just put things on Facebook as I think of them.
Well, I have an idea. Why don't, when you get your where you're going to be presenting next, would you let us know, and then we'll put it onto our Facebook page.
Sure.
That way people can see it.
Sure. That would be great. It would be very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.